Is May 31st, 2003. We are interviewing Chris Cook. He is my uncle. My name is Elena Wool. Stephanie Fricky and Vanessa Pine are also doing this interview. We are at Columbia City, Indiana. And first off, what branch of the service were you involved in?
I was in the Army.
In the Army. And what war or conflict was?
While I was in the Army, the conflict that I was in was the Panama excursion, dealing with General Noriega.
And was it all in Panama, or was it anywhere else?
Tip of Costa Rica, but for the most part, yes, it was strictly in the Republic of Panama. Upon my graduation of Columbia City Joint High School, at the time it was called Joint High School, I graduated in '88. After that, I enlisted in the United States Army, stationed at Fort Ord, California, near Monterey Bay. My basic training was done in Columbus, Georgia, where they do the infantry training. I enlisted at the beginning of '89. My basic training was from January '89 to March. So 3 months is what it takes for your basic training for the infantry. After that, you have 2 weeks of leave, basically vacation. I came back to Columbia City for 2 weeks, and then I was shipped off to Fort Ord, California, while I was in the Army for 3 years out there.
Why did you join?
Why did I join? That's a pretty good question. Well, there's not much to do in Columbia City. We all know that. My father was in the Army, and I guess you could say I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps. I wanted to do it to say that I was in the military. Maybe I watched too many Rambo movies as a kid. I just wanted to have the experience to fight for the country. That was my main reason for going in.
Do you recall your first days in the service? Any kind of details? And what was boot camp and training like?
Oh boy, boot camp. A lot of yelling. They constantly yell at you. They call it, the drill sergeants is what I refer to as they. Basically what they're doing is they're breaking you down because they want to see if you'll make it. If you can't take the insults, if you can't take the criticism, then you don't belong in the military. You'll break too easy. So they break you down and then they build you back up again. And what I mean by that is you feel like you're worthless. You're the scum of the earth while you're in basic training, and to them you are. And if you can't hack it, you don't deserve to be in there. So they break you down, and then they start building you up mentally, physically. It's pretty tough. It's just like you would see in the movies. There are movies that show basic training, how it works, and that's pretty much true to life. So it was pretty scary, pretty frightening. First time away from home by myself, and I didn't have mom or dad there to cry on, or whatever you want to call it, but pretty scary. But I made it through basic training. Being stationed out at Fort Ord, where my duty station was at, it was a lot more relaxed. After basic training, you get to your duty station, it's two totally different worlds, because you're in the Army, you're like part of the brotherhood, I guess you could call it, so they don't treat you so bad when you get to your duty station.
How did you get through it? Did you have any kind of special secrets?
No, not really. No special secrets. Just, you put your mind to it, and you just say to yourself, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to see through it, because they can't hit you. They're not going to let me die. They're just going to push me to my breaking point. So, yeah, I just, push myself every day.
Which wars did you serve in? And, I guess you already said that. Just kind of recap on that. And do you remember arriving there, like, the first day, and what it was like? Was it what you expected?
It was, in '89 is when that Panama conflict was going on. Again, it was with General Noriega. When we got shipped off to Panama. We flew from California to Texas, a quick layover in Texas to refuel the plane, and then continued down to Panama. If I'm not mistaken, I think it took about 18 hours of flying to get down there. It takes a while. We landed at night under heavy fire. It was pretty scary, and there was a lot of sniper fire shooting at us. We basically had to run from the plane to where we landed, which was a town called Tocumen. We landed in an airport which was seized by us. We took it over. The 82nd Airborne Division, I believe, was the first ones to get at this airport, so they took it over. The airport was safe, but getting from the plane to the airport was very hot. And when I say hot, I mean it was a lot of fire, and it wasn't a good situation. So yeah, it was pretty scary at the beginning when we first got there.
Who was firing at you?
The enemy was. They were called the Dignitary Battalion. We called them dingbats for short, because they were pretty stupid anyway. But yeah, the Dignitary Battalion, basically the Panamanian soldiers under General Noriega's command, were the ones firing at us.
What was your job or your particular assignment?
To kill, pretty much. I wasn't trained in the infantry. What that is, it is hand-to-hand combat. It is weapons knowledge, grenades, mines, tracking, navigation. If you've all seen Rambo, and I'm sure we all have, that's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much the backbone of the military, learning how to fight.
Were there many casualties in your unit during that time?
There was one casualty in the unit, but it wasn't because of enemy fire. But there were some other casualties in some other battalions besides my own. I don't know how many soldiers were killed over there, but there were a number of them, just not from my battalion.
Can you tell me what battalion and what unit yours was labeled?
Out in Fort Ord, California, I was stationed with the 3rd Battalion, 27th Infantry Division. Fort Ord, California was known as 7th ID Light, and light means we didn't have any heavy artillery. We had small mortars, and you have your rifles and your M60s, which is a machine gun. Nothing big, no tanks, no cannons of that nature. We were just light. We walked a lot and carried carried our weapons, and we had what we called a rucksack, which is basically like a backpack, and everything was inside that. So that's what they mean by light.
Okay. Can you tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences there?
My most memorable experiences. Kissed a girl once out in California. That was pretty memorable. While I was in, you mean while I was in California, right?
When you were in Panama.
Oh, while I was in Panama.
Yeah.
Some of the memorable experiences. Well, landing there was a memorable experience because I was very scared. We got in a couple firefights, which means we were taking on some fire. I was firing back, things of that nature. We were walking through the jungle one time, looking for the Dignitary Battalion, some of the Panamanian soldiers, and a grenade went off not too far away from me. A guy tripped it. He walked over a tripwire, and the grenade went off, and that was pretty memorable. Can't really remember any good things out of Panama. Of course, we weren't over there for a vacation either.
How long were you over there?
I was over there for 4 months, from December, January, February, March. Beginning of April is when I got back to California. So I spent Christmas of '89 and New Year's of '90 over in Panama.
Were you awarded any medals or?
Yes, I received some medals for the Panama excursion. Let's see here. This one, for instance, they call this Presidential Citation. There are two little clusters inside here, and that means third award. Our battalion received, this is basically received a Presidential Citation 3 times. You get one, and then you get the two clusters, which stands for the 3. So we got those. I received combat. Only infantry gets this award right here. It's a combat infantry award, and when you go to combat, you get it for just going over to combat. And the rifle is what that is. This has been around since the beginning of the military. Probably back in the Civil War is when they started this award, but the infantry only get this one. And I got, which one's the Panama? That's this ribbon right here. The middle one was specially made for the Panama excursion. So only people who went to Panama got that award. So yeah, those were some of the awards that I received personally. The other awards that were laying here, my battalion received. That doesn't necessarily mean that I got them, but the battalion I was in already earned those before.
Okay. Did you sustain any injuries over there yourself?
In Panama?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. I got pretty lucky. I did just some mental. That's about it.
While you were over in Panama, how did you stay in touch with your family?
When you're at war, mail becomes a priority. You don't have to have a stamp. You don't have to have an envelope. I could take this piece of paper right here if I wanted to, write a letter on the back of it, and it would be mailed. That's only during war. All the soldiers over in Iraq right now can get a piece of cardboard and write on that, and it would become a letter, and it would get mailed automatically. So we did that. I was able to write to my parents. Another cool thing was we took turns guarding General Noriega's beach home, which was really fun because his telephone was still active. So I called home many times during that week. So that was kind of cool. I was racking up his phone bill along with all the rest of my buddies that were calling home. So that was kind of cool. That's how we kept in touch over there.
What was the food like?
Food sucked. Can we say sucked on the camera? Okay. It was bad. It was really bad. It was worse than the high school cafeteria food of what I remember. A lot of chicken over in Panama. They eat a lot of chicken because it's, you know, a bunch of chickens over there. You don't want to drink the water. The water is very nasty. It's kind of like Mexico. The water's real nasty down there. So they have a lot of soda, and their soda is so weird. They don't have Pepsi and Coke and things like that. They have like orange soda and grape soda, and it's definitely a third world over there, but the food was nasty.
Did you have plenty of supplies? Did you ever run out, or?
Sometimes, yeah, we ran out. It was hard to get the food to us, and sometimes it was hard to get, you know, our ammunition to us. Sometimes grenades, bullets, things like that.
Did you do anything special for good luck, or like rub a rabbit's foot, or kiss an egg?
Kiss an egg. No, I did pray a few times though when it got real hot. When the bullets started flying, yeah, prayed a few times. That was about it.
How did you entertain yourself when you weren't fighting or doing anything? How did you stay from going crazy?
Well, everybody knows I'm nuts. Well, we played a lot of cards when we weren't like guarding a particular post. You cleaned your weapon because your weapon would get rusty because at night it would be kind of cold, and the dew from the morning and the nighttime would make your weapon get rusty. So yeah, you'd have to clean your weapon up all the time. So that we got, there was all sort of ways to keep yourself busy. You couldn't take showers all the time, so always personal hygiene. We always did that all the time. So there was things to do besides just sitting there going. Yeah, there was things to do.
Okay. When you were on leave, where did you go and what did you do?
I came back here. Being about 2,000 miles away from home, with no family out in California to speak of, I came back home a couple of times, once after basic training and then once right after the war, and I came home again just to take a small vacation, so I came home actually 3 times.
Did you travel anywhere else while you were in the service?
I went to Panama twice, once for the combat and then once for jungle training. So that was kind of neat. So I got to travel outside of the country twice. We also traveled down to San Diego, which is about 3 hours, I believe, south of Monterey for desert training. Texas, of course, we went there, and that was about it.
Do you recall any particular humorous or unusual events? Maybe with your buddies?
With my buddies? In Panama?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I do. I believe his name was Mark. I can't remember his last name. But he was trying to climb this chain link fence, and he ripped his pants. And when he fell down, he had no pants on. That was pretty hilarious because the town we were in, everybody was looking at him and just laughing. Oh, another time they actually had it was a grass hut is what it looked like. It had a grass roof and the whole sides were done in grass, kind of like what wheat would look like. They actually had a club inside of it, and they had disco lights and other stuff, and that was weird, watching some of my buddies try to dance. So yeah, there was a couple of times when it was pretty funny.
Did you ever play pranks on other people?
Yeah, we did that quite a bit. Put shaving cream in somebody's hand, rub their face while they're sleeping, and they got their boots on. You tie their boots together so they can't walk, just small stuff like that.
Did they ever pull one on you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a few things done to me. I ain't saying what they are.
Did you keep a diary or a journal? A personal journal?
No, I didn't. I got my pictures that remind me of, where I was at, and, maybe what I was doing at a particular time, and I can remember. My journal's up here.
Did you have any particular best friends or a group of people you hung out with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was, it's about 4 of us. In fact, 2 of them were from Fort Wayne, and the other one was from Kentucky. So yeah, they were pretty close.
Okay. Do you recall the last day of your service when it ended?
My last day of service was March 2nd, 1992. That's when I got out of the Army.
What was it like?
It was great. I was free. I was excited at the same time. It was kind of sad because it's like a part of my life is over, and I'm saying goodbye to a lot of my Army buddies that I got to know pretty well. I was saying goodbye to the fort that I had lived at for 3 years. But on the other hand, I was getting ready to start a new life, and I was a civilian again. So I was looking forward to that too.
Did you come back here, or did you go to school, or where'd you go after that?
After I got out of the military, I went ahead and lived in California for another 3 years. I started selling Chevys. So I was a car salesman. And yes, car salesmen can be trusted. I did that for 3 years. In September of 1995 is when I moved back to Columbia City, and I've been here since.
Do you continue any of your friendships that you made while you were in the service?
At first I did, and then you just start to I wouldn't say lose interest, but you know, you get on with your life, and you know, the same thing with my buddies that were in the service. They got on with their lives. So, yeah, not anymore.
Did you join any type of veteran organizations or clubs?
Well, being a veteran, I'm automatically, you know, part of the, you know, what it's called escapes me right now. I can't think of it, but yeah, being a veteran, I'm automatically a part of that. That's about it.
Do you remember the last day you were in Panama, and what was that like when you got to leave?
I don't remember what the actual date was, but yeah, it was pretty cool that we were getting ready to leave. We flew back in a commercial jet, not a military jet. We flew down there in a military jet. We flew back in a commercial jet, a DC-10, I believe. It was one of the three. No, it was a double-decker jet. It was kind of neat. We were all very excited. We got to finally leave. The place was nasty. It was third world. It was dirty. Being over there for 4 months, not being able to take a shower. Not to mention we all stunk on that plane. But yeah, I was pretty excited that we got to leave, but I don't remember what the day was.
Now that you're, you know, years past all that, does the military experience have any effect on your life today or right after?
In a way, yes. I think that, you know, not every young person, because the military is not for everybody, but it's definitely something you can grow up really fast. Being on your own, being in the military, it gives you good discipline. It teaches you to be organized. It teaches you to be polite. There's a lot of things that can benefit from the military. Scholarships so you can go to college and so on and so forth. So yeah, when I got out of the Army, it helped me be a better person, more organized, more disciplined on myself and things like that.
Can you explain what some of this other stuff, those awards are?
Okay. Okay, well, we can just start here. This picture right here is everybody that I went to basic training with. And down here at the bottom, I don't know if your camera can zoom in that good enough. But anyway, that's a little write-up of where it's at. And the dates, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, January 21st of 1988. So, 1989, sorry. Yeah, I was still in high school in 88. So yeah, that's everybody that I went to basic training with when we first started. This award is for exceptional achievement as an assistant gunner. July 10th, 1989 is what that is. That's for Fort Ord, California. Here's a small certificate for a lifesaver course. We had it wasn't required, but you could take it to become a lifesaver if medical somebody goes down. This is a certificate for when I went over to Panama, right there.
What was it called? Operation Just Cause?
It was called Operation Just Cause, kind of like Operation Desert Storm and what we have right now going in Iraq, whatever that's called. Yeah, well, there's like several. Iraqi Freedom. There was a couple other ones. They did it in phases. Let's see here. What's this one? I have no clue. That's just something that I got. Wasn't really of importance. This is also a certificate for the combat operations over in Panama during the jungle excursions. Which, by the way, Panama has some really weird animals over in the jungle. Oh, you don't want to go to sleep laying on the ground. That's for sure. And this is also another award for Operation Just Cause during the urban, inside the cities, is what that's for. Those are some small, awards I got. There's some more medals here. This one in particular is being an expert at a rifle, which is basically your standard weapon that soldiers use. This is these two things are strictly for the infantry. The blue ring around these two represent you're in the infantry. Same thing with this blue rope that's right here. This goes over your shoulder, representing you that you're also in the infantry. Different pictures of me and some buddies, being in Fort Ord, being in Panama, different things like that. And the last three things aren't anything I've earned. I stole them fair and square. These are Panamanian matches that were found in General Noriega's beach house. They're kind of different compared to our matches over here. I thought they were kind of neat. These matches are made out of bamboo sticks. They're really kind of cool, and when they light, they are totally different from our matches here. This is a gold lighter. It's butane, and it was found in General Noriega's, one of his bedrooms. And I've never seen if it works or not because I don't care to use it. But I went ahead and had it appraised, and it's worth over $1,000. I was planning on getting rid of it, but yeah, it lifts up like that, kind of like a teapot. So it's kind of neat. I stole these from General Noriega. I thought he was going to jail. He doesn't need these anymore. So that's about it. The life and the story of me.
What are these?
Oh, what are those? I'm sorry, I didn't see those up front. These are actual bullets from an M16 rifle. And you can't... Is there two more over there?
Start over there.
That's fine. No big deal. Yeah. This one. Okay, this one used to have an orange tip on it. The rest of these have green tips. That might not mean much to people who don't know what they are. But what this is, a green tip, you can't see it at night. It's dark. But this one in particular, the orange has been rubbed off, but I know it used to be one. This is like a flare. When it shoots, you can actually see it at night, so it's kind of neat. And that's how you trace. It's called a tracer. At nighttime, when you're shooting, every fifth or sixth bullet is a tracer, so at nighttime you can see where you're shooting. So it's kind of neat how they do that. I ain't really supposed to have these, so nobody turned me in, okay? So that's what those are. Those were actually bullets that I had over in Panama, so I brought them back.
Okay, thank you very much to Chris Cook, my uncle, and we hope you have a wonderful life. Thank you.
The end.